He's the world's first and greatest hero, but we want you to know that there's even more to him than meets the eye.
You remember that? Yes, sir. Stick with Lane. She'll show you the ropes.
A hero is timeless and relevant to America's apple pie. Good old Superman is here once again for a healthy dose of trivia. Superman's latest heroic romp follows his return to Smallville alongside his family, only for their idyllic day-to-day life to be interrupted by the stranger, and that's only the beginning. As usual for superhero stories, there's usually more going on behind the layer of action, adventure and awe, which is why it's time for this heroic rhino to dive into the sea of trivia faster than a speeding bullet. To start with, we should take a few steps back and ponder on what could have been. After all, the show went through many different early concepts before settling on what currently is. For one, Superman and Lois' children were initially conceived to be a son and daughter, until the showrunners settled on two twin boys, Jonathan and Jordan Kent. Both kids are named after Superman's two separate paternal figures, his stepfather Jonathan Kent Sr. and his biological father Jor-El. Speaking of early phases, there are quite a few leaked script pages floating around on Twitter. These scripts show plenty of scrapped references to the larger Arrowverse, such as the mention of speedsters, Crisis, and even Supergirl. Makes sense when you remember the show was initially set to follow 2019's Crisis on Infinite Earths, until it was revealed at the end of Season 2 that the show takes place on a different Earth entirely. Some of the retcons that resulted from this are Lois' early birth, the Kryptonian pod's appearance, Clark's ability to orbit the planet, and his heat vision having a red aura instead of blue.
I've stopped. For now.
This isn't where our retrospective deep dive ends, however. It's not just about retcons and early concepts. The final product already pays homage to the Son of Krypton more than enough times, as early as the pilot in fact. The first episode depicts the superhero's original Golden Age costume for the first time in live action. There's even a subtle nod to Action Comics issue number 1 with the famous green card that Superman picks up. But that's not all. The scene where Superman and Lois meet for the first time at the Daily Planet is a scene-for-scene recreation of the original meeting in 1978's Superman. Tyler Hoechlin took it a step further by recapturing Christopher Reeve's physical gestures and speech pattern. Elizabeth Tulloch ain't no slouch when it comes to nerdy callbacks either. For her very own request, Lois' wardrobe in the show was directly based off of her clothing in the comics. And that's not even mentioning the pearl stud earrings, which are synonymous with Lois Lane's visage.
Superman?
No, I've seen Superman before. We've seen him.
How deep does this Kryptonian hoe go? Too deep, honestly. The pilot episode even features a few scenes that are not to the 2013 Man of Steel. The Smallville High School football team is even named Crows, which, if you're a long-time follower of the franchise, you'd know comes from the hit prequel series Smallville from 2001. As always, we're thankful for your time. There are plenty more callbacks to come in Season 3. Are you excited? Tell us in the comment section, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're interested in more factoids related to popular shows and movies, among other media. You make a world of difference for this Kryptonian rhino. We thank you once more and see you next time.